Fortnite has some of the richest pro players and players that we have ever seen in gaming. And a lot of the time, these Fortnite players are just kids. Bugo was just 16 years old when he won $3 million at the World Cup. Moneymaker was only 14 when he competed in the 2023 FNCS Global Championship.
Age doesn't matter for Moneymaker and for Nyan. Young.
Виж какъв е този Moneymaker, брат. Направо.
Our Alex literally got banned for competing in tournaments and earning money at only 12 years old. But there is one pro player who was younger than all of these guys when he and his name is FaZe High Sky. Patrick High Sky Brigaru was born on April 3rd, 2007 in the country of Romania.
То не е бил някакъв много известен.
And more specifically, Vegas during
Мид беше.
Той беше FaZe High Sky, нали ти? Да, това да си го пише.
Funny enough, High Sky's dad was actually the one who got him into gaming in the first place. And once High Sky started playing games himself, he started by playing with the very popular game Counter-Strike.
Бати, аз да съм във Фейсбук заплатил майко.
Is that the original game was released in 2000, which means that the game is literally older than High Sky. And speaking of video games, one of the biggest games of all time came out when High Sky was just turning 10 years old in 2017, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Fortnite. Everyone was talking about it. Even if you weren't a gamer, chances are Fortnite was the one game you had heard about. And people loved it because it was fun and original, and also family-friendly, which meant that a young guy like High Sky High Sky first found out about Fortnite because all of his friends at school were playing it, and he too. And then on December 2017, the 10-year-old Patrick started to stream on Twitch under the name.
Много си беше яко преди в Даскал да лафиш за това и да цъкате всеки ден 5 в 5.
И да са кефиш, че си направо победа.
Да.
My dad, he helps me with,
Или и като ти скериш хора от пръсе, че това беше най-якото.
Да.
My mom, she helps me with my school and stays in my streams because I need a parent to stream.
It's awesome that he not only had supportive
Бах, трябва да ти родител, за да стримаш ли, брат?
Helpful to him and even encouraged him. The only problem is, however, it was 2017, and you had to be at least 13 years old to not only stream on Twitch, but to even create a Twitch account. And unfortunately for High Sky, this decision would change the trajectory of his life forever. And we're going to talk more about what happens later in this video. Despite his young age, High Sky started to reel in a lot of viewers. I think the viewers were very impressed that this kid who was 5, 10, or 15 years younger than them was way better than they were at the game. I mean, High Sky was seriously talented. In fact, people started to say very quickly that he was better than Ninja. And nowadays, everybody's better than Ninja at Fortnite, but back then, that was a huge compliment. Sorry, Ninja. His first stream started off with very low viewers, but then one day, randomly, High Sky started to pick up some viewership and even got up to 50 viewers on his stream.
So I was just streaming normally. I had like, I think 2 viewers, and out of nowhere, just 50 people came in and just started talking. I was like yelling at my friend, and he was like, bro, I swear you're getting view-botted or something. You're getting view-botted. And I was like, nah, bro, I think they're real. I think a week after that, a video got posted on me, and I just started getting like consistent 500 viewers and just kept going higher.
And that video he mentioned in that last clip was posted on June 6th of 2018. A Fortnite clip account posted a highlight reel of one of High Sky's
20 милиона гледания.
This 14-year-old is probably better than Ninja. And this video absolutely blew up. It now has a whopping 20 million views. You heard me right, 20 million on Fortnite highlights.
То няма в момента, в момента са Fortnite играчите по 5.
And people started moving to his stream in hordes. But if you notice, the one thing wrong with that title is that they said he was 14 when he was secretly only 10 or 11 years old this time, and that was going to come back to bite him, and we'll learn more about that later. Shortly after this video blew up, however, High Sky started his very own YouTube channel. he uploaded his first ever video on June 22nd of 2018. That video now has 700,000 views, which is not bad at all for a first.
Първото ти видео да е 700к, брат.
He started to regularly post his stream highlights onto his YouTube channel, while also streaming on Twitch very regularly. Following his initial success, High Sky started to get a ton of attention from gaming organizations. I mean, this was right around the time the World Cup was going to be announced, and everybody wanted to have the best young players on their roster. Not only was he good at Fortnite, though, he was also very entertaining on stream, so signing him would be a no-brainer for any organization. And speaking of the World Cup, it was announced on February 22nd of 2019. The World Cup would have 10 weeks of qualifying rounds with a $10 million prize pool, and that led up to a huge LAN tournament in New York City with an additional $30 million prize pool. This really proved that Epic Games was not playing around. They wanted Fortnite to be the next big thing in esports, and of course, gaming organizations wanted a slice of that giant prize pool. So they all started rushing to build out massive Fortnite rosters with the best players they could find. And perhaps the most interesting part about High Sky was that not only was he very talented and entertaining on stream, but he also looked very young. And keep in mind, at this point, people didn't know just how young High Sky was, so it was a little odd that he claimed to be 14
Брат, той
years
си
old
личи,
or 13
че е на
years
10,
old.
бе, брат.
He really
Да,
looked like
точно това ще да кажа, че то много се личи, как не знаят.
be able to market that and use it to their advantage to grow and earn money. And that's where FaZe Clan comes in. One of the biggest names in esports, not just then, but possibly of all time.
Брат, леко стана. На 10 години заминава.
Фейс мейс,
They
брате.
saw High Sky as an opportunity. He was going to become the youngest FaZe member of all time. On March
Ако е бил на 14, на сега, както го показва, трябва да е бил на 17.
and become the youngest player on their roster of all time. A few other Fortnite pros that you might know, like Dubs and Mega, were also added to the FaZe roster at this time. It was all part of a bigger push to get
То малкият откъде се е надил.
Things were going great for High Sky. Joining FaZe caused a ton of new viewers to flock to his channel and his Twitch streams.
Ма
And
те
on
после
top
го
of
махнаха.
that, the World Cup qualifiers
Май.
were happening. Everybody was watching Fortnite, and High
Да,
Sky was
точно
having
заради
the time of
годините
his
беше
life.
баннат от
And
всякъде.
despite being under 13, he was still
Може.
participating in these tournaments. But for those of you that don't know, the minimum age to participate in a
Да.
Fortnite tournament is the same as to stream on Twitch, which means that you needed to be 13 years old. And although everybody didn't know it at the time, High Sky was not of age to compete. And with this being hidden for so long, it was bound to eventually come out.
Какво скри това, брат? То се личи.
Не, той не казваш.
Ruined his career forever.
Да, ама пак
As
се
many
личи.
of you know, on May 20th, 2019, Tfue, an incredibly popular pro player and YouTuber in the Fortnite scene, decided to completely drop out of FaZe Clan. At the time, he was their biggest creator in the Fortnite scene, and it was obviously a huge blow to the organization. However, you're probably wondering, how does this affect High Sky? And let me explain, because this gets crazy. You see, on the way out of leaving FaZe Clan, Tfue decided that he was going to sue his old team for a whole bunch of reasons. He accused FaZe of purposefully limiting his career, promoting underage drinking and gambling, and not to mention, FaZe got a very young Tfue to sign a terrible contract that allowed them to keep 20% of his branded earnings and 50% of all of his LAN earnings. But Tfue suing FaZe shouldn't have been a problem for High Sky, right? Wrong. Because whether it was right or wrong to do so, Tfue decided to drag High Sky into the whole mess in order to help his court case. In the Hollywood Reporter article about the case, Tfue mentions that an anonymous 11-year-old gamer was signed by FaZe Clan, and they pressured the minor and his family to lie about his age. This was very obviously talking about FaZe High Sky, as he was by far the youngest player on their roster. And as I mentioned before, if High Sky was really 11 years old, that means he wouldn't be able to stream on Twitch, and it also means he wouldn't be able to compete in professional Fortnite tournaments.
То значи той го е преебал ли, брат?
Profile Tfue and FaZe were, this situation blew up. And this started a massive debate on whether or not High Sky was actually 13 years old like FaZe claimed. Many people online pointed out that he used to market himself as the 10-year-old Fortnite god before he signed with FaZe earlier that year. And that's something that FaZe tried to hide, but it all started coming out because of the largeness of the situation. But High Sky's fans and FaZe went on to defend him, basically saying that he lied about being 10 years old earlier on, so that way he could get more viewers, and claiming that it was all some sort of gimmick and that there was no proof of his age anyway. But unfortunately, on June 5th of 2019, Twitch would permanently ban High Sky's streaming account. The ban claimed that he was too young to be producing content on their platform. However, instead of quitting forever, High Sky would start to stream on YouTube. And on High Sky's first stream back, he said this.
I'm back. I'm not streaming on YouTube, and my Twitch account was suspended due to me being underage. And yes, I am 12. I only lied so that I can fulfill my dream of being like a streamer. It's been my dream for a long time, and I worked for a year and a half for it. And I'm sorry that I lied.
On top of the whole situation, FaZe
to je
had to
bogorodna laža,
negotiate
brat.
with Epic Games to release the thousands of dollars of earnings that High Sky had gotten when he was underage and still playing Fortnite. Because as I mentioned before, High Sky was competing in these tournaments under the age of 13, which Epic Games very clearly doesn't allow. However, Epic Games would become the least of the worries for FaZe Clan when it comes to signing somebody under the age of 13. Many people question the legality of even signing somebody so young. I mean, it could have easily been a violation of child labor laws. And just to be clear, I don't think Tfue went into his drama with the intention of ruining High Sky's career. I mean, it would be very weird for a 21-year-old to have a beef with an 11-year-old, and I think Tfue was genuinely trying to do the right thing. But Tfue did express back then how sorry he was over everything that happened, and even reached out to Twitch to try and change their age policy in order to get High Sky his account back. And in response to all of this drama with Tfue, High Sky took a lighthearted approach and did what everyone was doing back in 2019, and he wrote a diss track. Unfortunately, due to copyright laws, I cannot play you this absolute banger, but let's just say it was pretty sick. Honestly, this was the best possible response High Sky could have done in the situation. It was lighthearted, funny, and most importantly, he didn't take himself or anybody else too seriously. I think it actually showed a lot of maturity considering that Patrick was only 12 years old at the time, and it just goes to show that his parents were raising him right. Honestly, if this whole situation had happened to anybody else, it could have ended their career. But High Sky just took it and made himself even more popular. Because on June 24th, about a month after Tfue left FaZe Clan, High Sky hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Once everything cooled down from all the drama, things kind of went back to normal for High Sky. Although he still couldn't stream on Twitch, his video schedule seemed to return to normal. His content centered around Fortnite challenges, clickbaity thumbnails, and collaborations with other popular YouTubers, both in FaZe and out. It was clear that both High Sky and the team at FaZe were putting a lot of effort into what he uploaded. And it was definitely reflecting in his channel's numbers, because most of his videos from this time period have over 1 million views. And this success that High Sky was seeing was even further intensified by the pandemic. Since everyone was stuck inside their homes, way more people were watching YouTube, and it was the perfect time to blow up as a creator. And luckily for High Sky, he wasn't involved in any other major drama that year, and he turned 13 on April 23rd of 2020. And when that happened, his Twitch account was reinstated, and he was finally able to return to the world of competitive Fortnite. It was almost like it never happened, and he was way bigger than he was before it did. While everything was going great for the now 13-year-old High Sky, that many creators got from the pandemic had to eventually die down as the world returned to normal. And almost every creator on the platform was affected by it, including High Sky. People were going back to school and work, but they had also been playing the game of Fortnite for a very long time, and some people were just honestly bored of it. And unfortunately, as time went on, it was clear that High Sky himself was losing interest in Fortnite as well. He started to play other games, however, like Valorant and Apex Legends on his stream, while still only posting Fortnite and IRL content on his main YouTube channel. But these main channel videos did start to slow down, and by the end of 2021, he had disappeared almost all between October 13th, 2021 and February 13th, 2022, which was over 6 months. And that next video that was uploaded was explaining where he had been that whole time.
I have been missing, and you guys probably have been gone for the past couple of months.
Туско се е затворил в някой гараж, бе, брат. Подземен.
Over here, keeping me down in
тук е гринскрин, бе, брат.
Да.
He was actually just living his life and doing some fun things, like playing Fortnite on an actual battle bus.
Колко забавно.
Реално... дай аз в някой бус във Варна да игра в Fortnite.
Да.
I think it's great that High Sky was able to get out into the real world and have some super fun experience with his friends. Honestly, one of the biggest
Приятелите между другото едно към едно с него бяха.
getting stuck behind a computer screen. Trust me, I know this all too
13-ката,
well.
няма
If you
значение
guys
кой
couldn't tell, I do upload quite often on this channel. I mean, we've uploaded like 23 or 24 videos in the first few months, and it's all because I'm trying to reach my childhood dream of 100,000 subscribers by the end of this summer. So if you guys wouldn't mind supporting the channel, helping me reach my goal, and just hitting that sub button, I would really appreciate it. But let's get back to High Sky. Even though High Sky officially came back from his disappearance, his content was nowhere near as consistent as it was during the height of the pandemic. He barely streamed at all for the remainder of 2022, and towards the end of 2022, he disappeared once again. Then on July 23rd, 2023, he dropped another big return video where he opened up about the struggles of being famous at such a young age.
Take a step into my world and realize that at the end of the day, I'm just a normal, average kid just like you guys. I get overwhelmed and I get stressed. I have emotions just like everybody else. And to add to all of that, I am the youngest member of one of the biggest gaming organizations in the world. It's honestly one of the biggest...
Брат, виж, при тях големите да си там, че някакви 11 години.
Да, ама ти дават кеш, брат.
But with being in the spotlight from such a young age, there was a lot of pressure that I had to deal with. At the end of the day, I'm just another kid, but now, being in FaZe Clan, I have millions of people watching everything I do, judging me, hating on me, loving me. There's so many different people who just always are watching what I do, trying to find ways to criticize me and stuff like that. And there's always two different sides to everything. You know, if I post Fortnite content, it's cringe, but there's also so many people who love my Fortnite content. So there's just so many different people to please. There's so many different opinions of what I should be doing with my life. There's no way I can really please everyone.
Oh, and also he wanted to drop some pretty cool merch. And then after that return video, he disappeared again for another 4 months. However, he did return for OG Fortnite, because honestly, who didn't return for the OG Fortnite season? But unfortunately, he didn't stay, as he kind of disappeared again. He continued to randomly post videos until May 3rd of 2024, when he announced that he would be dropped from FaZe Clan.
As you guys know,
Kicked.
been officially let go from FaZe Clan.
То комп, като е взел кеша вече.
Big announcement ended up coming out from FaZe.
Officially been kicked from
Сигурно 10 години.
Те бяха правили такова разчистване, бе.
Да. Да, тя дет не цъка.
FaZe Clan has been the biggest blessing for me. Even through all the ups and downs, you got the bans, got the hate, got the lawsuit. But it's my story and I will take it with me for the rest of my life.
Thanks always for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and
Let's
I'll catch
go.
you guys in the next one. Peace!
Той хайпър е захъркал, между другото.